Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in another session. Hi, Ben. Nice for you to join us.
Nice to be here.
Okay, so in this video clip, we're going to tackle third jhana and maybe even go into fourth. Right. So first is quite a lot of movement, lots of energy movement, clearing up our energy. The second is the filling up of our heart, our mind with joy and light and bliss, right? And so now we, so even that get old, okay? Like after we've been in it and attain it, and like I say, speed up. The first jhana might be 3 or for me 2 years, and the second probably a year, and the mind start to step back and observe, right? Because it has its field. It has its field of happiness. It has its field of drink. It has its field of nutrient and food. So it's quite happy. So it naturally step back and observe. And then so the third is this fullness. So in the sutta or in the description, it's like we in this dome of light, right? And there is this fullness. It's like, for easy analogy is if we have a feast and our belly is so full, like we literally have this sensation of fullness in our belly, and it's like sinking, but the feeling is so contented, like you wouldn't know what to do. You're so content, and you're still in the light. So there is not the joy is gone, the happiness is ceased, and now there is this just satisfaction, there's this contentment, there's this fulfillment feeling. So it's a calmer happiness. So you can see the progression is calming. So another analogy is a person go through the desert, find an oasis, and he drank his fill. Now he sit back in the palm tree and he just relaxed because he's so content. So this feeling of contentment is the characteristic of the third jhana. Right? And also there is the spectrum, and it doesn't need to be like we say, we don't need to go through 1, 2 and then go into 3, right? We can just jump into 3.
Okay.
So you might be meditating between boiling potatoes, and all of a sudden you're in 3, right? You're in this dome of light, in this contentment, this massive fulfillment, this heaviness. Yes, not much to say about third jhana. Do you have any question?
I do actually. In the definition of the third jhana, in the discourses of the Buddha, he mentions sati sampajana, so like clear knowing and comprehension, or depending how one translated. So I was curious if you had anything to say about that, or what that means in the third jhana.
So the mind is settling down, right? So when there is happiness, even there's bliss, there's still quite a lot of movement in our feeling, in our mind. But with the third one, it's calm, but there is still this feeling of containment. So there is still feeling, right? It's the next one is very different. So clear comprehension is we know. So each jhana we need to know, right? Because if you don't know, there's no insight, there's no moving on. So and the insight don't have to be so great. It can all it only need to go from one to the next, right? If you haven't, we always try to break through to the characteristic and everything each jhana. But if we don't have that capacity, the mind is not strong enough, or not, it's not pure enough, it's not calm enough, then we just have enough insight to move to the next, and to the next, and to the next. But each of the jhana, like I say, you know, we can try that, we can attempt that. We can attempt the breaking through to reality as it is. So with the third one, there's more chance, right? So we know, like after first and second, you kind of get the hang of it. You get the hang of your state of mind, because the mind is way more pure, is stronger, is more clarity. There's less movement, less distraction. So it knows more. So, and then with the fourth one it's very, how to call it, very distinct from all the other one. With the fourth one, everything calmed down, right? There's no feeling whatsoever, total equanimous, right? The mind is still and stable. But what's so characteristic is you can feel, right? Because this feeling, Vedana, is also the mind. It's not just in our body. When so you can feel the gathering of the energy. So when we are sitting there and then we observe, we can see peripheral, right? We can aware of the peripheral. But in the fourth, that peripheral is gathering in to one point. Right? So our awareness become one point. It becomes very sharp. It's almost like tunnel. It's only seen very sharp at one point. And there is still bright. There is very bright. The mind is very sharp like an eagle, so sharp. And because there's no emotion, not even contentment or bliss or anything, so there's nothing to move the mind. So that is the characteristic of the fourth. There is this gathering down to one pointedness, and that is called samadhi. Samadhi, the stillness, that is the definition of samadhi. It's not concentration.
So when you say one-pointedness, do you mean like a very narrow focus?
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes. So everything that is in the peripheral is focused, like you can feel the mind kind of focus down to one point. It's like before our vision is general, but now we can focus like a microscope, right? And microscope can't go and focus on the peripheral. Microscope can focus on one, at what it's looking at.
And what is it looking at in the fourth jhana?
Then it's up to you, right? So the job of jhana is to bring the person to this point where the mind is pure, it's sharp, it's like it's happy, it's got the muscle, it's strong. Now, how you direct your mind, what you do with it is up to you, right? So people who incline to psychic power, this is where they're going to develop it. people who want to break through to enlightenment, this is the point. All the point is right here on the fourth, because there is quite a bit of doubt in the previous jhana, but there's no more doubt in the fourth, right? Because it's very distinct. Total equanimity, one-pointedness, like can't miss it.
So there's no peripheral awareness in fourth jhana, as you define it.
Yeah, it's very sharp. And so you can direct your mind what you want, what you want.
Can you still hear sounds and feel body sensations with the fourth
Yes,
jhana?
we're still in the body. Yes, we're still in the body, but we're not in, if we choose, like if we choose to refocus in the ear, if we choose to open our eyes, if we choose to feel, we can still feel. But in terms of the mind, in terms of the feeling, it's still.
Okay.
So the fourth, also another characteristic of the fourth is, this is where the breath gets very subtle. Yeah, it's almost to the point where you perceive it to stop. So this is the edge of, if you tip over, that's it, you don't feel your breath anymore, and certainly not your body. But this is the point where yeah, very shallow.
Okay.
Also, another thing I want to point out is the difference between jhana realm and jhana state of mind.
Okay.
So we might be meditating, and then we start to see light being. Light, not in the term of our state of mind light, but light in terms of deities, in terms of heavenly beings. They are light. Then we know that we are in the jhana realm, right? But our jhana state of mind, we don't see vision, we don't see light beings. We see our state of mind, our purity, our sharpness. So there is a difference. We can, from jhana, we can go to jhana realm. We don't go by we go by our state of meditation. That's how we know that we are multi-dimensional being, right? Within ourselves, we have the capacity to be in those dimensions, right? So we are multi-dimensional. Our body, our physical corporate body, just happened to be on earth. But when we enter jhana, or when we enter into immaterial, our consciousness, we are multi-dimensional. So
sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
Yeah, because I added some other questions about the one-pointedness aspect, and I'm trying to understand it better. I'll describe you a meditative experience, and if you can tell me if that relates to one-pointedness, when you get to a place in meditation where all experiences, whether they are sounds or body sensations or mental activities, that they seem to be all happening in the same place, like within the same space of awareness. Kind of like if you open a neon light in a room where everything is illuminated at the same time, but it doesn't go on one object more than the other. It just sort of illuminate the whole place. Is that something like fourth jhana, one-pointedness, or is this something different?
Okay. So what about other factors? Like, do you feel like, do you have any feeling? Do you have any thoughts?
Thoughts occasionally, and the feeling is more like a feeling of space, so to speak, a kind of spaciousness, and it's like everything is happening at the same place. There's no notion of things being like oh, the sound is here and the sensation is here and the smell is here. It's all like, it seems like it's all happening within the space of awareness. Is that would be the feeling tone, like very, very still also, and
It's very different. It's very, so what is that practice like when we are, so with jhana, right? So you go from 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very much jumping into the feeling, right? Jumping into light, jumping into bliss, jumping into that, right? So with other practice, I haven't gone to other practice, like, but there's, you know, very quite popular Mahasi, which is like, you know, over the east, where there's just noting, and they would have very different experience. So I can't really say much about those experiences.
okay.
So it depends on what were you doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Because yeah, because say if you were doing Mahasi and you enter jhana, you would experience it differently.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because from what I know, even if they're in jhana, they would still be observing and noting. There wouldn't be the absorption aspect to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll be describing the experience very differently. Okay. Even like say 1, 2, 3, and 4 is quite different. But if you're going from the feeling pathways, then it's like the simile of somebody who very thirsty or hungry, had their feel being satisfied, contented, and then strong in their mind. So that is quite classical pathway of this particular jhana.
Okay.
And then the Mahasi, they would also describe jhana, but very different.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. It's up to the person to inspect within themselves.
Sure. Okay. Sounds like the way you describe it is there could be perhaps within these states different how can I say different levels of or combinations between samatha and vipassana. Like maybe the vipassana is 30% in some, and in some others the samatha is very strong, and then there may be some variety, and that creates different flavors of experience.
Yeah. Yeah, because like within, I wouldn't be too stereotype, between men or women practicing, or between even individuals. They gravitate to whether more feeling or more being observer, right? So when you are you let go of yourself and you absorb, then you are the observed, right? But when we step back, then we're the observer. So we gravitate between observe and observer, observe and observer, right? So when we are the observer, when we are the phenomenon, when we are the experience, when we are the bliss and the happiness, then that's when we feed ourselves. That's when we feed our mind with wholesome food, make it strong. And then we step back and we be observer. That is the vipassana component. And that is the watching, the noting, the inspecting, investigation into phenomenons. So that is the being the observer, doing the vipassana aspect. So we gravitate between both, and it's very much an individual flavor of where they want to spend most of their time. For me, I'm such a suki for experience, so I would be in a lot of the feeling, the experience, and only stepping back to observe enough to move on and keep moving on. So for me, it's like less of stay here and finish the job. It's more like keep moving on to the end, till I there's no more steps to go. That's more like what I did.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot. Yes, makes sense. And the progression makes a lot of sense, the way you explain, like from the energetic sensation, and then the stillness and joy, and then calmer happiness, and finally settling in a very, very equanimous and deep stillness to the fourth jhana.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of outside of the session, now we are entering quite deep state, right? So there is this phenomenon where the sense of self start to thinning out, blipping in and out, all right? Not so much as would be in arupa, but it would already starting towards like fourth jhana. So what happened is you might be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden you're not there. Right? Or the most dangerous is you'll be driving and then all of a sudden you're not there. If you're not there, you like in the seeing, there's the seeing. In the hearing, there's the hearing, but there's nobody in there to know what is the seeing and the hearing, right? There's no knowing. There's only the senses coming in and out, light, images, sound wave. That's all there is, because that is reality as it is, just bare basic reality phenomenons. There's nobody in there to know what to do. So if you disappear like that while you drive, you don't know how to drive. Right, so it's very dangerous.
And that could happen when one is like flirting with the fourth jhana, so to speak, like when they're entering.
Yeah, because in the fourth jhana, your sense of self is very minimum, because the mind is so clear, so sharp. There's no feeling. All right, that it's like you is this. If you can say you are the pure awareness, that's what it is. There's just pure awareness. but there is awareness. Now, some people might misunderstood this to be the finale. It's not the finale, because there is still awareness. There is still, I know, I'm aware. Or even if there is no I know, there is still knowing. There is still awareness. And when there is still knowing, even though there's no I know, it's still self. Right.
When you mentioned the mind will do whatever, like it will go to its object very easily, it makes me think when the Buddha talks about the fourth jhana, he says the mind is very malleable.
Yeah, malleable meaning you can direct it, right? It's very disciplined. It's very well trained. You can direct it. It's like a well-trained dog or a well-trained elephant. You can tell it to do whatever you like it to do.
Okay.
That's what malleable means. It's like it's flexible. It's not resisting. It's, you direct it, it will go there.
Even like inclining towards nibbana, if that's your goal, would the mind?
Yeah, but but that relies on you know what is nibbana.
Okay.
Right now, the concept of you knowing nibbana is already not knowing nibbana, right? Because the pure definition of nibbana is no you there, right? Okay. So for the fact that you know nibbana is already not nibbana.
Okay.
Because nibbana is the extinction of that knowing, of that sense of self. So if you stay in the fourth, and then I don't know how you would do it, because I couldn't do it at the fourth, and your sense of self like totally extinguished, not just in meditation but outside, right? Then you know you break through to nibbana.
Okay.
But how did you do that? How you do like you probably you have to stay in that state for a long time, right? For me, it's not like that. For me, I didn't stay in the fourth very long. It's just happened that the karma and the circumstances happened, and I was kind of jolted into a rupa.
Oh,
so to speak. It's like, it wasn't my own effort that, because I realized from rupa to arupa is very hard. And it's the only analogy I can think of is like the rocket, right? The rocket trying to break through the Earth atmosphere and gravity and go into space need a huge lot of energy.
Okay, so the transition from fourth to the arupa is a really momentous event.
Yes, yes, it's another ball game, totally another ball game. In terms of energy, you need a whole lot to, number one, get into it, catapult you into it. Number two is a total different transition in terms of your mind and in everything. If you want to go into it, we can go into it now, but it's very big topic.
Well, have we covered most of what we can say about fourth jhana? I mean, it sounds a very
yeah. Well, because I didn't stay in the fourth jhana, so I didn't have an opportunity to, say, develop psychic powers or investigate into phenomenon, you know. So I only stay in the fourth jhana to know the characteristic of it, because the pattern, right? The pattern, the movement, and the gathering of the energy of rupa is the same as arupa.
Hmm.
Because I'm a scientist, and it's just and I love math, so I kind of like detect patterns, so the rupa patterns is very similar. When you go into arupa, it's similar, but it's very, very different.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, everybody, there's so many psychic powers that can be developed, and I searched, through the sutta how he described. It's not very much. He said, just stay there until the condition is right.
Okay.
So the sutta can be very vague in terms of like personal experience. It's more instructional.
Right. The fourth jhana seems to be a very perfect place where insight can happen quite.
Yeah.
Like in
this is the optimal.
Okay, the optimal place to.
Yeah, this is where you get deep insight, because it's like, imagine the surface of the water, it's rippled, it's polluted, and now it's totally glass, right? It's clear, there's no ripples, and you can penetrate right down to the bottom. You can see everything. So that is the analogy of the fourth, right? Your mind, there's no, besides being aware, there's no ripples, because your awareness is so sharp and focused, and it doesn't even get distracted by peripheral vision. So if you want to break through to any problem, this is where you do it. And you can trust the insight, because it's coming from a deep and clear space. It's not polluted or filtered by personal opinion, by beliefs, by conditions, because of all that thoughts and movements already still.
Okay.
That's why the Buddha say, come to the fourth and finish.
Right.
And the difference between, say, somebody who finished at the fourth is called a white lotus, right? A white lotus arahant. And somebody who is finished after going through arupa is called the red lotus arahant. I don't know why is the dedicate this white and red, but the red lotus arahant is liberate both ways, meaning they can experience arupa, right? They've been through, and I'm not too sure about their mindset, whether they would feel emptiness or not. I don't know, because I haven't talked to an arahant who finished at the fourth. But the fourth arahant, the one that finished at the fourth, don't experience arupa.
Okay. Would they still be able to? I mean, I would assume they would, if they wanted to, they would still be able to develop the arupas later. Does that make sense?
I don't know. The Buddha developed arupa even before jhana. He when he learned from his two masters, he jumped into the sixth and eighth, But here's the thing: if he experienced arupa, why didn't he go straight into ninth and then, go into cessation, total cessation after ninth? But he couldn't. And then so he had to go back and remember the state when he was 12, when he entered jhana, and go from jhana and finish. So I did a lot of research, and then there's not much things at all saying in the sutta. I have to go to the Abhidhamma, and they say, oh, you need the jhana in order to go all the way to the ninth and then finish up.
Okay.
If you just jump, if you miss the jhana and just jump into immaterial like the Buddha did in the beginning, you can't finish it.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So it's like there's elements to be gained from going through the 4 jhanas that are necessary.
Yeah. You have to do from step 1 to 8. You can't just skip and then shortcut it. Even though you don't have to like really establish the 4th, if you're able to just at least you experience 4 and then go into arupa, you can still finish.
And in your experience, if I understand correctly, you didn't stay very long with the 4th. You were catapulted into the arupa fairly quickly.
Yeah. So catapult meaning like I had help. I had help from, and I have to be transparent, because that's the purpose of doing all these video clip, is to just let it be all out there, totally transparent. So from the rupa to arupa, well, I'm not saying everybody, but what happened to me was I had the help of an energy field, so to speak, from a person who already finished, right? Who already attained right at the end. Now, whether he's arahant or not, that's another question. But the fact that he had very strong field, right? And what this field does is it speed up like how you release. Like when we sit and we meditate, we release energy, but we release it very slowly, right? But when you're in this field, our karma, or so to speak, is being released very fast. It's being drawn out. Because it's like you come close to a black hole, and it just draws you in. There's a certain gravity. If you're close enough and you're open enough and you are ready, it'll draw you in. And then there's, you just go along with it. You can't pull back. So when things happen, that's it. You just have to adapt, integrate.
Okay.
But even him, he needs his teacher. He was, he does work with a few teacher.
Fascinating.
Like
an awakened deva or something like
that. Deva? No, it's like real person.
Okay.
real people who you come to do retreat with.
Okay, so it was a teacher that you had that was
Yeah. So I would go to retreat with him. I would experience a lot of energy work. I would realize that picking up on people's pain. I would feel people. I was very sensitive. And then at a certain point, after being with him 2 years, not permanently 2 years, you know, on and off retreat and weekends and things like that. In that final week, he saw something in me. I don't know what. And then he made me sit next to him. And that's very rare. Like, you only get to sit next to him once per retreat to help you. But this week, he made me sit next to him the whole 7 days. And we're talking about like 8-10 hours, constant, you know, workshop and things. But all the retreat with him, like 7 weeks, I feel pain. Because when energy is released, you feel pain, right? Okay. You feel headaches, you feel nausea, it's like a full-on flu. It's like a really bad flu, right? But it doesn't matter how much Nurofen or Panadol you take, it's not going to help you anything because it's energetic. So that's what happened with me on that week. The going off into space and breaking free of the earth gravity, going from Rupa to Arupa.
So it's like something in his energetic field helped you to slip into the Arupa.
Yeah, yeah. It's nothing that he does. Remember, when you are at the end, you are the presence, right? Just because there is this presence in you. It's not the presence that you develop. It's just by the way that the self is not there. It's just this non-self, right? It's just total absent of reality. You can't even say it's a reality. You can't even say it's nothingness, because nothingness is still reality. So there is this aspect of absence of reality. And that is what is a black hole. Right? This absence of reality is drawing reality into it.
Interesting. Like I don't know.
So even
I don't know if it's that what they mean by, you know, like a gravitational field, but it's like it sounds like something pulled you into this.
It's not you. Yeah, it's not like it pull you. It's pulled the. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's like it pulled the energy out of you.
Hello?
I think there's a glitch.
Yeah, the image froze for a while. So.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I think there's some technical difficulties. Hello? Hello?
Hi. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see you and I'm stuck somewhere in the Zoom where I cannot see you.
Oh,
You can see me?
yeah. You're from my end, you're frozen in and out.
Okay. Oh, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. You're more stable. Yeah, you're more stable now.
Okay. Things are back online.
Yeah.
So speaking of
Then
stability.
again.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more questions?
No, not for now. I mean, I think it's very it will be very interesting for next video. It seems that the passage from fourth to Arupa is going to be a very interesting topic. I don't, hello? Shall we take it as a sign to stop it here for today?